One you were listening to and perhaps watching Not Sauce for Work. I got the title right. I'm your host, Pease Del Rees. For those of you who are not new to the proceedings, you know that me getting the name right to the show is an absolute miracle. Joining me as always is my partner in crime, Terry Tam. How's it going, Terry?
It's going great. I always thought that you got it wrong because Eagle and I thought you were drinking alcohol every week, but you told us you've been drinking pomegranate water or
not
grapefruit
pomegranate,
water.
It's grapefruit water.
Grapefruit water. So
like Eagle mentioned that it's not good for my teeth enamel, and
no.
I didn't like this week. My teeth have been hurting, so I don't know if it's psychosomatic or if that's.
Well, how many do you have a week?
I have one a night, like a full grapefruit with a bottle of like Soda Stream carbonated water.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's my nightly routine. It also helps with digestion. I've been shitting like a champ.
Yeah, see, my significant other works in dentistry, and she will tell you to your face that it's a terrible idea, and you have to go see your dentist right away.
Eagle, how many have you gotten your teeth checked since you started dating her?
I don't even have to go anymore. She'll do it. She'll be like, okay, I'm flossing your teeth now. I'm like, all right, well, one thing I don't have to do tonight.
And she gets in there and starts flossing?
Seriously, straight up.
Oh, well, my girlfriend flosses in the middle of meals.
Okay.
And then she's yelling, that's not true. But it's true.
She'll take a bite, and then after that bite, she'll floss a little bit, and then take another bite.
No, but yeah, like let's say I'll cook her a steak or something, whatever. She'll start eating the steak, be 80% finished. She'll start flossing.
But what about
Eagle? Can you find out for me what's a safe?
She'll finish it.
Can you find out for me what's a safe amount of grapefruits to be eating a week?
Sure.
Google.
I thought I was doing this for my heart. Like. Which well, I mean,
there's pros and cons to everything. There's pros and cons to everything. Like everything in moderation.
Yeah, definitely. Terry, what you got coming up on Weekly
Literally, grapefruits are on the list of the 10 worst foods for your teeth by dentists.
So Pease, you tried to be like healthy.
Yes.
All, you aged yourself so much in the last 10 minutes. Blood pressure. Something else old.
Well, but that's the thing, like
cholesterol.
Like, I'm 38, right? Like I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna be 40.
Grapefruit is literally number one on the list. It's literally the worst one.
So how many can I consume per week?
The pH levels of grapefruits in particular is extremely low, meaning they're highly acidic and can corrode the surface of your teeth and the enamel that protects that surface. When you're eating grapefruit, it's best to chew and swallow without delay. Fruit mulling can also lead to premature wear of the teeth. Another one to watch out for is dried fruit. Peas, do you eat prunes?
No, I don't eat fruit.
You're gonna probably it's probably the next thing your doctor's gonna tell you to eat because you're old as fuck.
Yeah, seriously. The thing is so it's been a couple of years. I've been taking care of myself, and so now I was like, look, let me start doing the things to really.
And number 6 is soda and carbonated soft drink. So you're actually having 2 of the things at the same time.
No, it's carbonated water.
It's carbonated water.
It counts.
It doesn't count.
It's not like the purchased ones. It's the one with the Soda Stream. So it's
I have Soda Stream. Yes.
And then you put ice in that water.
I do put ice in that water.
That's also on the list.
Jesus Christ!
Ice is not good for your teeth.
No.
What am I supposed to do?
Just apparently drink something else.
Just die, Pease.
I'll just die then. Okay,
just get cholesterol and just avoid the problems. You know what I mean? You're gonna have bigger problems trying to avoid things. Yeah, you're gonna have bigger problems just trying to avoid things than actually eating them. So just fucking live your life, man. Live your life.
I was like, I'm doing something for my health, and it's delicious. Plus, it's pink, which is awesome. Made me happy. And
we need to make a movie cover. Like Fast and Furious when he's like, I live my life a quarter mile at a time, obviously. And we need to make a cover with you on it. I live my life one grapefruit a day.
Mm-hmm. With no teeth.
With no teeth. Or just like transparent teeth, kind of.
Yeah.
They're there, but kind of faded away. We get get on that. That's a good one.
I don't know about you, but this has been sort of a nostalgic, and I guess the theme for the beginning of the show is oldness. But this has been kind of a nostalgic week for me. I guess heading into the Masters, it's also a weird Masters because Tiger Woods obviously is not going to be able to play, and this is famously his quote unquote his home course in a sense. But he's not going to be able to play, but they're leaving a seat for him at the table. And I find it's really strange that since he's gone into the accident, he turns out he's fine. He's going to be okay. He should be able to play again, all that stuff. But they've been treating him like he's dead ever since the accident. and it's so strange. I don't know how to react.
It's because golf has nothing to talk about sometimes. Golf, like I love golf, and the last couple of years I've been following it. I actually watched the Masters last year. I went back and I watched the last 4 Masters, like the final day. So like I'm into it, and I'm gonna watch this weekend. I'm actually playing golf.
I'm good from Thursday. Like it's my favorite. Usually, Eagle and I would work usually on Masters weekend. So I haven't been able to watch Saturday and Sunday for years,
and arguably Friday too.
Yeah, Friday I'll watch in the morning though, and like I'll catch a little bit of it, but I haven't been able to watch the whole tournament. So this is the first time in years I'll be able to watch the whole tournament.
Last year too, no? Last year we didn't have flag.
Well, yeah, last year. Well, it didn't happen at the same time. It's true. We did watch. Yeah. We did get to the Masters. That is true.
And another thing is like there's not going to be any fans. And golf, like I was saying before, golf they always try to like they need to stay relevant, right? Especially before the Masters, they need to hype it up as much as they can. So all they had to go with was Tiger. What are they going to talk about? How Justin Thomas apologized for saying the F word? How Tony Finau can't win a tournament? What are they going to say? Is Dustin Johnson going to repeat again? It's all boring storylines. The only thing they have going is anything Tiger Woods related. It's actually pathetic.
Well, there's also Bryson DeChambeau's probably going to complain about something.
Oh yeah, so of course.
That's always on the docket. So I'm looking forward to the Masters, but at the same time, sort of one of my favorite musical artists of all time, DMX, hospitalized. It doesn't look good. It feels like if he survives, he's probably going to be brain dead. Suffered from an overdose. DMX famously suffered through addiction for most of his life, despite multiple efforts to get clean. That saddened me. Like this was. I remember, again, and this is going to be old guy podcast for the next few minutes. The guys of Steve and Zhang probably don't even know who DMX is.
That's a good question. We should ask them if they actually know.
It's true. We should actually have like right now. We should actually have like an old school listening hip hop party for them and see how they reacted to G-Funk and associated acts. But I remember like listening to him, and it was like the first time I heard something like. Even like compared to NWA, that was like the next level of like aggression. Because like NWA was like essentially protest music, right? DMX was just angry and it, like for a young guy, for a teenager heading into college and stuff like that's something that was kind of fit that period in your life perfectly. You know what I mean? And so it kind of made me sort of reflect on my past in a way I didn't expect. And then, of course, the Space Jam, trailer hit as well. And Eagle put up this picture. So I know Eagle's not excited for this movie. This picture got me excited. And then I realized, holy shit, I'm already nostalgic for the big 3 in Miami, and that wasn't that long ago. But 2 of those guys are already retired.
Back to DMX is that every time I see guys on motorcycles doing tricks, I think of DMX.
Okay.
Because like Rough Riders Anthem music video, guys on 4-wheelers and stuff. No, it's guys on 4-wheelers doing tricks and stuff. The whole music video was that, and the whole Rough Riders Anthem.
Not DMX.
Yeah, fucking Eagle, man.
Not bicycles.
Stick to Pokemon. I don't even know.
And for the record, the reason why I'm not hyped about the movie is because it looks like Ready Player One basketball edition. That's the only reason why.
It is. It does look very futuristic. I will say it's very like biomechanic. It's very
well, but I feel like the original Space Jam. Well, no, it was more cartoony. That's true.
Yeah,
this is more CGI-y than.
Well, I mean, it's with today, right? It's like today is like we have so much technology, and these guys are such geniuses that they can figure it all out.
Yeah. But apparently, the plot is this Don Cheadle character steals a bunch of Instagram followers from everyone. And so then he takes LeBron's son hostage? And
it's actually LeBron's son, right?
I think so.
It's the one that doesn't play basketball.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's not Bronny.
And then for some reason you challenge the best basketball player in the world to a basketball match. Like at least in the first game, it's the Toon Squad guys that come up with the idea because they're like, oh, these midgets over here, like we're gonna just beat the shit out of them, right? And then they don't know, like, oh crap, they stole all the NBA player talent. So fine, there's one over here, but LeBron James is good at this. Why would you do that to yourself?
So Shtib says he knows of DMX. I don't listen to his music though. That's a lie. I do like X. Go and give it to you. See, that's perfect.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. So Shtib is an old soul.
Most famous DMX song.
Yeah, Shtib is an old soul. But the Space Jam is I'm gonna watch it. I don't really have that much of like I'm not like running. If Mighty Ducks came out the new movie, you know what I mean? And what? The show came out, yeah, and I want to watch the show. I haven't just gone around to it yet. But if they came out with a new movie, like a reanimated series of a remade series of Mighty Ducks, I'd legit watch that movie. You know what I mean? Like for sure, 100%. But I don't know. I'm not running for Space Jam, but I'll watch it. Did LeBron start his own like a production company? Because there's a movie I saw. It's called When You Were Dead or Wish You Were Dead or something like that. It was with Angelina Jolie and a bunch of really good actors. And it says Braun. I guess he's the producer.
Is it the story of when he left Cleveland?
No, not at all. That's called The Decision.
Yeah.
That's called The Good Decision.
It was better produced than The Decision.
That's called The Right Decision.
No, I believe he did. I believe he did that. This has been like a move in the works for years. That's why like no one was surprised when he went to LA and all that stuff. So
yeah, of course.
Sorry Cleveland, you're just not LA.
It was the first thing everybody was saying when he signed with LA. They're like, oh, he's gonna do Space Jam. He's in LA for this reason. He's also in LA because it's like one of the best franchises in the history of sports, and he wants to be a part of something great. And
if you want to set up the next stage of your career, like. I mean, if we had an opportunity for Hot Sauce Sports in LA, we'd probably move to LA. I mean, like that's just what people do for their careers all the time. It's funny we
say that.
Why did we sports?
It's funny we say that. We have an unpaid intern that lives like an hour away from LA. So
in LA, exactly.
Yeah, but is an hour with traffic or just an hour regular? Because if
an hour Google search, 16 hours of traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
But yeah, that's things that have happened in the past. Let's talk about things that are happening in the now because Terry, it's time for the news.
Good thing we can't talk about things that are going to happen in the future.
Good.
Or can we?
Like I have a bunch of like $2 bets with random guys from the Masters, like Abraham Answer and like Xander Schauffele. Did you see the groups for the Masters? Like the groups that are made for day one? Unbelievable.
Terry, it's the future. And by that, of course, I mean the news.
It's also grammatic. It's like it's completely incorrect to say it is the future.
Well, but isn't it?
Didn't I just explode your mind right now?
No, but just think of it. It should be grammatically correct because the end of the sentence is always in the future from when I'm saying it. So
all right, if I was high right now, you would have exploded my brain. But if
this is a football season, that's a good NFL blitz.
That's a good NFL blitz.
So the NCAA Tourney finished. We had a great Final Four game. Well, we had a terrible Final Four game as Baylor just they shredded everyone in the tournament.
Watching that game, I'm like, did Houston play in this tournament before? Because one, I don't think I ever watched them, and two, it's like they're really not that good. There's two teams I didn't like going into the tournament, Houston and Georgetown. Houston, I was like, maybe I'm wrong. And then Baylor just hit every three in the world. And then Gonzaga, they had this great, exciting finish. Suggs hit that game winner. I love the fact that they didn't even take a timeout. They had a timeout. They didn't take it. They inbounded the ball. Suggs crosses, half court, puts up the shot. Look, we'll say it. It was a bit lucky, but look, you need to be good enough to be able to shoot the ball with enough touch that if it hits the backboard, it has a chance to go in. It's kind of like Kawhi hitting that shot against Philadelphia a couple of years ago, where a bad shooter can't make that shot with or without luck. A good shooter has the opportunity, and that's what Suggs is. He makes a shot, but then, my God, Gonzaga got dragged. Even when the game felt close, it wasn't close. I saw this guy at the end of it. They're like, why? He's like, why didn't UCLA foul Suggs? Why did they let him shoot? That was an actual analysis on Twitter because it's a tie game and you're putting literally the guy who's gonna get drafted in the top 3 at the free throw line with no time left. You fucking idiots. Yeah, people are just idiots.
I'd rather make him take a shot from almost half court than from the free throw line. Yeah, a guy who's a top 5 pick, guaranteed top 5 pick in the draft. Yeah, no, it's okay. I'll let him shoot from half court.
Honestly, why did everybody should have just like circled him, 5 guys on one, just like circled him and just like put their hands up. He's
the guy taking that shot, right?
I mean, maybe Kispert. I don't think Timmy would have taken that shot. Yeah, I think Kispert was actually on fire at that point too. So I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
I
he
guess.
was
Just
in the
but,
second
like
half.
their main guy is their guy is Suggs. Like we talked about we talked about two things last week, and both things turned out to be right in different ways. One, we said Gonzaga's secondary scoring is impressive, and that's probably why Suggs gets the shot.
Hey, Timmy.
The next thing we said is Drew Timme, as fun as he is not an NBA player. And on the defensive side of the ball, I love his footwork offensively. I think around the basket, look, if you can make shots at a high clip around the basket, you're valuable. But he can't guard anybody, and Baylor exploited that.
All he knows how to do is take charges. He takes them really well.
Yeah. But if you're shooting, if you're rotating on him and shooting threes, he can't defend the perimeter. And the NBA game is defending the perimeter.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna write an article about this and ask you guys. There's always like the random guys, like the storylines, and Drew Timme is like the ultimate storyline. You know, he's the ultimate.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate guy that we like to talk about because of the handlebars, and you know, looks like he's got a dad bod and he's 19 years old. The best thing is we're gonna see this guy.
He's 45.
Yeah, legit.
Let's stop saying he's 19.
And we're gonna see this guy for we're gonna see him for another 2 years.
Yeah, because I don't
think sophomore. Yeah, he's not gonna leave early to go to the NBA. Like he's not gonna be a ranked top 2. Like there's no way he's drafted in the NBA. There's no.
He needs to shed like 15 pounds and just
alter it to muscle.
Yeah, like he can't move. He can't move defensively. It's a problem. I loved seeing him play, but it's gonna be a shame that his career will likely end in college.
Well, is it a shame because honestly, that tournament is like that's their NBA for most guys. Most guys know that's the highest they're gonna go, and that's why a lot of these guys, you know, they cry when they get eliminated if they're in this Elite 8 or the Sweet 16 and they get eliminated by a buzzer. Like look at all those guys for UCLA. They're like it might be their last like high level basketball game ever. You know, they're gonna have to get jobs and play rec leagues, and you know the rec leagues might be competitive. You know what I mean? But if they're not going to China or Europe, they might not be good enough. If like all those big guys that aren't going to make the NBA, they're not going anywhere else in the world because everywhere else in the world doesn't really like big guys. They don't, you know, they play more of the small ball. So like it's their fucking Super Bowl. It's for them. It's what they wanted to do their entire life because they know they're not going to make it.
Absolutely. And before we get into the next topic, we're going to take a quick break because my computer is dying.
You want to continue, Eagle?
I mean, yeah, I guess we can continue in the meantime.
Pease gets his fucking charger. I don't understand how
the next topics we're going to be talking about are fireable offenses, actually. So would you consider this a fireable offense for Pease?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I don't think so.
What is a fireable offense for us? I guess like being an intern is probably like the standard right now.
Yeah, anything Alex the intern has done is a fireable offense. We don't really fire anybody around here. We had one blog. We had this one blogger who like he wanted to write about basketball, and he reached out to us, and he's like, "Hey, I'm interested." And I said, "Okay, cool, let's do it." I added him on the website right away. I added him in the group chats. I did everything, and he never. And every time I asked him, he would even text me and call me, be like, "Yeah, sorry, I didn't write anything. I'm sorry." And he never wrote anything. And then one day, I just decided I just removed him from the blogger chat. I removed him from the website. I never heard from him again. It was very random.
Who's this?
So Pease,
we had this random blogger for basketball, but he never did anything.
Luckily, you're not fired for not having your computer charged, so we can continue with other actual fireable offenses.
All right. Wait, was that last part on the show, though, or are you going to cut that out?
Yes, this is all live still.
It's all live. We're still recording.
We shouldn't be talking about bloggers on the air, though.
We didn't say anything bad.
We fired him.
I didn't drop names, and I didn't say anything bad about any bloggers. I just said the facts. We had this one blogger. He was supposed to write about basketball. He never did. He would call me and reach out to me and be like, "Hey, sorry, I didn't write anything." And then finally, I just decided to remove him from all the group chats because he wouldn't answer and he wouldn't do anything. So that's all it was. I haven't heard from him since. It's been months. And you guys didn't even know about it. That's how little he did.
That's true. It's kind of like when you have Adam Gase as a head coach, he does nothing to improve your career. Yeah. That's what we've seen with Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's got some talent, but he's got, you know, that quote, of course, of seeing ghosts and the whole mono thing. You know, there's just so many storylines where he got made fun of. And the fact that he worked with the most unimaginative coach in the history of the NFL, Adam Gase. He gets a new chance. He gets traded to Carolina for a 2021 sixth-rounder and a second and a fourth for 2022. I actually am impressed with the haul that Joe Douglas was able to get for him from Carolina, because he hasn't really done anything to suggest that he's, an NFL starter.
I love the move for Carolina. I disagree with you on that. I think that he's done enough to show that he's a starter. I think that anytime Adam Gase is involved in your development, you have to get a pass. You have to kind of get like, oh, he had Adam. He had Gase.
Oh, but so here's the thing. I agree with you that he might be better than we've seen, but
it's like a get out of jail free card.
Sorry?
It's like a get out of jail free. Yeah, I get what you're saying. He hasn't shown that he's good, but I think that he has shown signs.
Tannehill had Gase, but Tannehill had moments before Adam Gase where we're like, okay, well maybe there's something, and then the contract just got to the point where the Dolphins had to move him because it was going to be too expensive, and he got it. Like, he played well enough to get an extension with Miami, right? Whereas like Sam Darnold, look, you're picking third in the NFL draft. Here's an opportunity to get a quarterback. If you're not convinced, it makes a lot of sense for the Jets. I don't hate the move by Carolina because, yeah, you're giving up a little bit. But here's the thing. I know you're already paying Teddy Bridgewater, but we all know the NFL cap is going up next year, right? We know the Amazon money is coming in. We know that they're going to get additional revenue from seats that weren't sold last season but are going to be sold this season. So we know that, and we know that Tepper's has surrounded himself with a lot of these analytics guys who evaluate talent the same way that he's evaluated things on Wall Street. And he's a guy who makes decisions on value. Now, he puts less value on, will this guy get mono again? But does absolutely put value on, hey, this guy might be a touch better than Teddy Bridgewater.
So Bridgewater has been given the permission, if you want to call it that, to, if he wants to be traded to a team, for his agents to start talking to people, to do all that stuff. But also they said, if you want to try and stay and compete for the job, go ahead and do that. My hot take, I think he's going to be the starter. I don't think Donald's going to beat him in camp.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing about Teddy Bridgewater, though. It seems like people like him. He seems like he's smart enough that he understands. He picks up on playbooks really quickly. Thing about Sam Darnold is that he makes all the throws when they don't matter. You know what I mean? So,
and that's never mattered because he played for the Jets.
Exactly, but that's also practice. Where Teddy Bridgewater is more of in-game situation, he can make crazy plays, and he's very smart. But you have to see it. So I think that, Eagle, I'll disagree with you. I think that Sam Darnold is going to come out the starter, and Teddy Bridgewater might win it like after like week 4 or 5 if Sam Darnold has a couple bad games. But it's going to be like a really short leash, kind of like what we saw with Trubisky and Foles last year.
But here's the thing for Carolina, I think what they're doing is improving by degrees, because I think whatever research they've done has showed them that they think Sam Darnold is like a touch better than Teddy Bridgewater. But so what's the best case scenario? You don't win a championship and pick 16th in the draft and can't get another quarterback. Like, I don't understand sort of the long-term goal unless they have plans to make a big trade somewhere down the line.
I think that they're gonna maybe downplay Sam Darnold, not pay Teddy Bridgewater, so they can continue to keep Christian McCaffrey, because he's gonna require a lot of money again. So I don't know. It's like I like what Carolina. I think Carolina has a high ceiling in terms of the talent that they brought in, but I don't see either of those guys being the franchise quarterback in the next 3 years. I think that next year or the year after, they're drafting a quarterback really high. I really do think that. So we'll see. I mean, but it's that division is up in the air. That division could be won by any of those teams. You know what I mean? Like as good as Tom Brady is, there's no Breeze in New Orleans anymore. There's Carolina. I'm always forgetting the fourth team. Atlanta. Atlanta's a shit show. And then you have it's Tampa Bay, and I think Carolina is a good enough defense.
Super Bowl 3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah. No, but Matt Ryan is 3 years older. His arm isn't as strong. The running game is completely gone. Their defense is
gone.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's gone. Well, that's the reason why they would win. And then, so I don't know. I just think that division is really up in the air. And with the extra game, I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina can be like a 10-7 and win that division. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, well, we'll see, because they did try to take a bigger swing. They made a play for Deshaun Watson, and then at first the Texans were not interested in making the trade, and now it appears as though the prison system might not be interested in making a trade. Criminal charges filed, not filed, but rather attorney Tony Busby has submitted evidence that will be looked over by a grand jury to decide whether or not criminal charges will be brought forward to Deshaun Watson. Usually, however, when lawyers do this, because the burden of proof in a criminal case is much harder. So, like the way I heard it put best was by Carl Douglas. He was one of the OJ attorneys. He said, civil suit is like getting to the 50-yard line and playing field position, right? You just need to prove that it's likely what happened. However, when you say beyond a shadow of a doubt, you need to score on 4th and 10. It's not like it's really hard to prove that, because that means that if there's any doubt at all, and famously, like Joe Douglas's career, the O.J. Simpson trial, it was literally the shadow of a doubt where a glove didn't fit his hand. It couldn't, like, that is enough to dismiss a case. And so when that's brought forward, usually it means that we'll see criminal charges brought forward as well.
Man, Deshaun Watson, I'm curious to know what's going through his mind right now. Like, if he's guilty, if he's
I should have taken the settlement money.
Yeah, no, I don't think there was any offer for settlement. I think a lot of these women
originally had said, right? He's like, oh, they came to me for cash, and so
not everybody though.
Clear my name, but I think had he settled the first one, would we have heard of any of this?
Because it was like 14, like at once at first, right? It wasn't just one and then two.
Yeah, but
and
number
three.
2 and then to 14 all came after number 1 was announced. Think about it.
It's kind of it reminds me a lot of the Antonio Brown situation where he's making a mess in the media, and then people he wronged were like, you know what? Fuck this guy. Like, why am I keeping my mouth shut protecting this guy when he's acting like a jerk on TV? And like, I was supportive of Antonio Brown trying to find a way to play somewhere else. And I was supportive of Deshaun Watson using his power to be like, you know what? I don't like working here. Why do I need to stay? Why can't I go work at another company like anybody else? But then,
is this the last that we hear Deshaun Watson? Is this the last time we're ever going to see him play football? Because he's not playing this year. I don't think,
like, if this is a criminal charge, man, like, look at what Michael Vick went through, and that's not in the same. Like, listen, I know there's people who love dogs. I'm not saying
people are more sensitive about dogs than humans.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing when it's women. I'm sorry.
But people are more sensitive about dogs than people.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's why stuff like this happens.
Though. Like, it's true because people have more of an attachment towards animals than they do about humans they don't know.
And I would say,
crazy to me.
I would say, Terry, that unfortunately there's a percentage of people watching the game of football who have stronger feelings about protecting dogs than protecting women. And that's why we're seeing the reactions you see on Twitter to this case, even though the evidence is growing. It's not getting smaller. It's not getting dispelled at all.
Yeah.
Well, no, Keys. Don't forget about all the masseuses that have come out saying, "Oh yeah, he didn't rape me."
Yeah. So Eagle, if a bank robber says, "Hey, look at all these banks I didn't rob," it doesn't mean
and all the tellers come out and write an affidavit about it, like, "Oh yeah, he came in, he didn't rob me."
Yeah. So
I saw that guy before.
He got a checkbook here. There was no problem at all.
Yeah, I helped him out. I gave him a bunch of coins. It was weird.
So seemed like a good kid to me.
Wait, he robbed the bank next door? He's okay, man. Give him a pass.
Yeah. Come on, he didn't rob our bank.
It means he's a good guy.
The what's it called? So he's been dropped by Beats, and
Nike.
Nike has suspended their relationship with him, but I suspect that they'll be dropping in a couple days anyway.
Well, I think that I know Nike's gonna stay until there's actual charge.
Yeah, but like I said, charges
only because of their affiliation to the NFL.
Well, that's the thing, because I found it odd because Bose is an NFL sponsor, and I think it's exactly that, Terry, because Nike is sort of like an NFL sponsor, and they have like sort of general protections as being involved with so many athletes, whereas Beats is sort of like a one-off sponsor. Like they sponsor certain athletes, but they're not like an NFL sponsor the way Bose is. So I think that's why they were quicker to drop him.
Did you guys hear the story about the guy from Monster and the MMA fighter? His name is Hans Mollenkamp. Did we talk about this? I think I spoke about it now. So this guy
I know is a Hans Moleman.
So his name is Hans Mollenkamp.
Hans Gruber, bro.
Hans Gruber.
Oh,
Hans Moleman from The Simpsons. so his name is Hans Mollenkamp, and he doesn't work directly for Monster, but he is like a fighter liaison. But so what he does is there's only a certain amount of fighters that are sponsored by Monster in the UFC, because the UFC you're not allowed collecting sponsors. They have Reebok and Monster; those are the only two sponsors, and Monster decides who they sponsor, right? Depending on how much money they bring and all that shit. So this guy apparently trains with guys and asks them, hey, can you give me can I beat you? And I'll record it and post it on my Instagram. And apparently if you don't do this, you won't be sponsored by Monster. And Monster pays a lot, and they take care of their fighters. So apparently this guy uses his social media to get people to train with him. And there's this whole conspiracy theory. It's all being leaked because one of the fighters after his win, Dominic Cruz, he called him out. He's like, Hans Mollenkamp, I want to fight you for all the shit you do about fighters taking money out of people's pockets and all this shit. And it kind of reminds me of that whole thing with Boast.
Man, the more I hear about the UFC's business practices, the more annoyed I get. Because
no, the UFC has nothing to do with this because it's Monster that chooses the fighters. The UFC,
why can't
they know what actually
sponsorships?
Oh, because they get money from Reebok and they get money. Well, now it's Venom, but honestly, it's a little sketchy. Yeah, it's like they were getting Brendan Schaub he's come out. He's been super vocal about this. A lot of fighters actually have.
Well, Ariel Helwani has been. That's one of the reasons he's banned from UFC events, right? Is because he.
So yeah, there's been a lot of guys like Stitch. He was a cut man. He's with the best cut man in the world, and he had a sponsor. His jacket was sponsored by Zions. It's like a supplement company, and he wasn't allowed wearing it anymore. And he voiced his opinion, and then they fired him. They said we're not coming back. And it's pretty shitty because a lot of these fighters were making off ads on their shorts $100K, and then they're stuck making 15, 20K for a fight when they could have made $100K. A lot of them get the envelopes and stuff like that. I'm sure Dana White takes care of them, but Dana White went after this guy though. He went after this guy and he called him out in the media and shit. So, there is that to play with. But yeah, the fact that the UFC took away sponsors from fighters is a little crazy to me.
Yeah. So we've talked about two sort of fireable offenses, right? Sam Darnold not really fired, but he no longer has a job he had.
And technically, Deshaun Watson not fired. He's still actually on the roster.
Yeah, but so if it turns out to be true, we suspect it's a fireable offense. Paul Pierce has been fired from ESPN. So let's just start with this is the video that was released on Instagram Live this weekend.
On you, bro. What you do?
It's the whole video.
Monica, you should be here. You can make some money, girl. Stop playing. Monica, what you doing?
You guys throw some fucking chips, man.
If you in LA, come through.
Look down.
If you in LA, Monica, come through. You know what I'm saying?
Where's she at?
I love how he's telling her to come like a random person.
Thousands of dollars can't even throw a fucking chip. Wait. I can't see.
Paul Pierce, man, living life, huh?
Wait. Hit me with chips. What is going on?
If this is what one championship gets you,
apparently. Those Celtics, they talk like they were a dynasty, right? But they got one. To me, they're like the biggest failure of a super team that ever existed. And it's solely because of LeBron James, who came and just shat all over their stuff and didn't let them get to another NBA Finals.
Man, Paul Pierce, honestly, I think ESPN was just waiting for this. I think that if this was Shannon Sharp on Fox, they would have let it go. He would have probably been fined or something, or suspended.
ESPN is Disney. They have a code of conduct. I don't think the issue is the strippers and the gambling. It's that he put it on Instagram Live.
Yeah, exactly.
If everyone knows that's how Paul Pierce lives, right? That there's been stories about him forever, but it's not like hot sauce sports. If Alex the intern is playing poker and has strippers, we don't care.
Yeah.
But we don't work for Disney. We don't have a mouse running the show. We got Terry running the show. So
I'd love to be in a room with Alex, arguing with strippers,
giving his sports takes to strippers.
Yeah.
He's like, no, Tony Romo was not a Hall of Famer.
Cole Caulfield is the best prospect of the Canadians you're ever going to see. Okay, that's nice, but do you want the lap dance or not?
It's fake news.
Fake news. No, so here's the thing. I never found Paul Pierce to be a particularly good analyst. I will say that
awful.
a lot of times when you get the Hall of Fame analysts, they say nothing. So he's the rare Hall of Fame analyst who would sort of stoke fires, deliver hot takes, do that kind of stuff. And that stuff gets people talking, it gets clicks, it gets engagement, it gets all that stuff. So I can see the value to Paul Pierce, but I can see ESPN being like, you know what? We don't need this. Most people kind of hate him anyway. He shat his pants in that playoff game. So
he keeps on telling everybody he's better than LeBron. So it's like, all right.
Yeah.
I think we should just get rid of him at this point.
You're better than LeBron, even though like your team with 4 superstars can beat him and him and Mo Williams with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
It's actually kind of funny because a lot of analysts who have like the big brain analysis go on TV and then they're told by the producer to like dumb it down for the average person, right? Because if you're talking about blocking lanes and the whole stuff, nobody cares about that type of analysis, right? Like, oh yeah, these guys are playing hard, they're shooting good, like it's the usual stuff. So he took that to an extreme where it's like they're playing basketball, and that's his analysis.
Well, but see, so here's the thing: like Shaq and we talked about this last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago, where Shaq and Charles Barkley, they're not there for their incredible analysis, and you can find that on YouTube, on websites, on Twitter. You can find guys who are sort of the analytics and whatever. But those guys are there to entertain, and I think Paul Pierce is in that vein. But they're just he's just not as likable as those two, right?
Candace Parker schooled Shaq in like X's and O's a couple weeks ago.
Well, Candace Parker, that show was specifically a good mix with like D Wade and Candace Parker, who's sort of like the new school, even though like D Wade is not that much younger than Shaq. But Shaq's not there to give the X's and O's. He's there to get a laugh. He's there to get the viral clips and all that. So
he's there to tell Donovan Mitchell that he's not impressed with his performance.
Which is nonsense. That's so stupid. The guy's amazing.
One of the best players in the league, MVP candidate probably this year.
Paul Pierce actually posted a response, so let's look at that.
I gotta see this. It's a video?
Yeah.
Yo, just want to thank all my supporters. Want to thank my haters and everything. Look, but check it out. Bigger and better things coming, baby. Don't worry about it. You fall twice, you get up 3 times. Just always remember to smile, baby.
So,
I mean, what? So another thing is like, didn't he like just like go ghost the entire day?
After that, immediately, yeah, and then
he just like disappeared, right?
Once he was fired. So initially there was a theory that he thought that he didn't realize he was on Instagram Live, but he also told Monica to come through. So I don't think that's the case. But it's
who's this Monica girl?
Yeah, I know. We got to get Monica on the show. I think.
That'd be amazing if we can get Monica.
That's the key.
Write it down. Get Monica.
Eagle, get Monica.
Is it one of those girls with on that podcast that spilled the beans on? Was it the Hawks?
Oh,
the Suns.
The No Jumper podcast. Yeah, it was that girl Selena Powell and her ugly friend. What was her name? Yeah, I don't remember her name was, but she said Monica? that she blew all the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. But anyway, Monica, as far as we know, didn't go to the party. So,
hey, mom and dad, are you proud of me?
But so the thing with so he said 2 things. He said bigger and better things are on the come up for him. So he's actually been offered. One of the porn companies offered him some money, and Dave Portnoy tweeted at him to say like, "Hey, come over to Barstool Sports," because again, Barstool has a different code of conduct than ESPN. That's always been the case.
Yeah.
And then the thing that I found most puzzling, and you know me, I get sort of hung up on these semantics. He says, you fall twice, you get up 3 times. That means that one of the times you fell, you got up twice. And I was like trying to picture, like, do you get up and like run up a ladder? Like, and then you gotta go back down again. So it still doesn't work. You just live on a ladder then? Like, I don't know.
Did you elevate? I don't get it.
You fall so badly, you have to get up 2 floors worth.
You get up on one knee, and then you got to get up again like an old man. Like when I get off the couch, like after like a gym workout or like a long night of just lying down on the couch, and I get off, I'm like, and I have to do like that extra movement. That's what he's talking about.
There it is. The aging superstar Paul Pierce. That perfect. Makes a lot of sense. Some other stuff's happened in basketball, and like so. This is kind of my favorite type of show that we do, where we sort of weave in and out of the ridiculous. We go from like making fun of Adam Gase to some serious talk to making fun of Paul Pierce, and we're kind of back to serious talk for a second. Michael Rappaport got into it with Kevin Durant. And I find this to be kind of interesting for a couple reasons. One is that Durant kind of learned in real time sort of things that aren't necessarily calling someone by a name can still be considered, for example, homophobic or racist or sexist and so on, right? And then Michael Rappaport, the only reason we know about this is Michael Rappaport releases the texts or the DMs, which is something that is also not done. So, I mean, this isn't to excuse Kevin Durant, because you shouldn't be speaking like this, especially like if you're in the spotlight, you need to know that your stuff can get leaked at any time. And then if you're Michael Rappaport, man, like,
but it's like, is
there not a better way to deal with this kind of stuff?
If you're in the circle, you assume the other person in the same circle isn't going to leak your text messages. You know what I mean? Because it's career suicide. But at the end of the day, what did Kevin Durant pay? He paid a $50,000 fine. Like, it's like $100 for him. So it's really nothing.
It's more that he's going to be linked with this for a while, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't.
Sure. I don't think Kevin Durant's losing any sponsorship deals because he threatened Michael Rappaport because of the shit he was saying. And Michael Rappaport, I used to like him. After this and after the whole Barstool thing, I don't like the guy. I think that he's an opportunist. He's a fake. Like, he just yells. He's funny. He has a shtick. I used to listen to his podcast. I used to enjoy it. I don't listen to it anymore because he's just too he's in your face, and then he goes on fucking First Take and he starts crying. Or not First Take, on Undisputed. What's it called? Is it Undisputed with Shannon Sharp and
Undisputed? Yeah,
Undisputed. He goes on Undisputed on FS1 and he starts crying because he can't take his dog to the park. Like, the amount of shit this guy has said about people, it's crazy to me that he is trying to play the victim here. You did what you did, whatever. You leaked out Kevin Durant's tweets, messages. Fine. You felt insulted. Your wife was insulted. Fine. That's what you're gonna do. Fine. But don't go on TV and start crying because you don't know you can't go outside anymore and your dog Wheezy. Fuck Wheezy. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous that this guy is playing the fucking victim when he's the one that starts everything all the time.
No, for sure. And you know, on the Kevin Durant side, look, when it comes to situations like this, I will say I normally take apologies at face value, because who are we to know whether or not someone's sorry? I will say his apology wasn't, "I'm sorry I said those things." He said, "I'm sorry you saw me say those things."
Yeah. Which
is a bizarre distinction. I don't know why he feels it's important for him to be able to make disparaging remarks that can be, used to disparage gay people. I know he doesn't mean it that way. I don't think Kevin Durant is homophobic. There's never been this situation. I mean, he's been accused of this in the past, of using these slurs on the court, and he's since stopped. He understood he couldn't do it on the court, but it's clear he's still using it in his everyday life. I think.
Wait, what was the word here?
You
the F word
on this, and
okay.
It's so, like, again, it's the same way that
it was derogatory. It wasn't inflammatory.
Or to imply racism, you don't need to call someone gay or use the other F word to refer to someone in a sort of gay context. But he did it. It was a lot. Like, he was in every message there was like a connotation of sucking and so on and so forth. So, like, that's kind of where it didn't look great for him.
Sucking, like, a lot of corks.
I don't think it'll cost him sponsorships, because it's not the quote unquote gotcha thing, and he doesn't have a reputation of, like, distancing himself from gay people, or like Tim Hardaway did when he was a player on the radio saying that he didn't like gay people. That was the whole thing. That was a really cool story, because in the end he actually sort of became like an ally for, not even like, not just apologize, but became an ally for gay people, right? So I think if Kevin Durant wanted to actually be serious about this, he would actually do some sort of similar things, like donate to charities and show up at events and stuff like that. But he also doesn't have to, you know what I mean? Like, if you could just chill, just find other insults.
Honestly, I think the worst part about all of that, all of the things he says was, from Michael Rappaport, is going after his wife. Listen, okay, saying this, you're going to soak another cork and all that stuff. Yeah. It's, every time I say it, I think of that SNL skit. Remember that? Soaking my corks. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But honestly, I just think that Kevin Durant he's a guy, and a lot of guys still do that locker room talk, and it's not okay. But at the end of the day, the worst part about it was he went after Rappaport's wife, and I think that's what Rappaport got so upset. He's like, I'm gonna fuck this guy over, and he fucked him over, and he fucked himself over in the meantime too. I think Rappaport's gonna suffer huge because of this. All his connections are through the NBA, and KD is the NBA. And like Michael Rappaport is part of that three versus three league. He's one of the owners with Ice Cube. Like Michael Rappaport's involved in the NBA. He's always on Fox. He's always on ESPN. He does all those bits. And I think he fucked himself here. I think he burnt a lot of bridges.
Well, really like players won't talk to him anymore, right? So
exactly,
his value is gone, and it's not like he had much of a value as an actor. So just that.
I mean, his 3 episodes on Friends were unbelievable.
I'm not a Friends fan.
He dated Phoebe for like 3 episodes on Friends.
He was a cop. There's your first mistake. You dated Phoebe.
Out of all of them, But Phoebe, she's the kinky one. I'd be down for Phoebe.
I don't know any of the things you guys are talking about.
You never watched Friends? You have a wife. You never watched Friends?
No, we both hate Friends. We tried watching it when it was on Netflix, and we laughed 0 times in 5 episodes.
Are you like a Seinfeld over Friends, or are you like a...
I wasn't a huge Seinfeld fan either, though I appreciate the comedy more, because my thinking is Friends is just people talking in random voices at random volumes, whereas Seinfeld actually has jokes.
So the thing about Friends, if you take out the laugh track, a lot of it is funny.
Cringe.
It's a lot of it is funny. Like I will say, like Chandler to me is like he's a funny character. I appreciate his humor, but if you take out the laugh track, it's not that as funny as people think it is.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing online. Take out the laugh tracks, and you'll see how non-funny these shows are. And it's true. If you really think about it, if there's no laugh track, none of these shows are really funny. The best shows are the ones that don't have studio audiences. Like Modern Family at first was really good. The Office, Seinfeld has a studio audience, but whatever, it's still funny.
I don't think it actually had a studio audience. I think studio audience ended with Cheers, and then it just became a computer.
Actually, yeah, it's a laugh track. You take out the laugh track. Yeah.
Some were still filmed in front of studio audiences. It depends on the shows.
Depends on the show. Like
I think it went from this is filmed in front of a live studio audience to this is a Miller Boyette production.
In the 90s, it's impossible. In the 90s, it was impossible to even think of a show without having a live studio audience. Like it didn't. Like, what do you mean nobody's watching? Well, people at home are watching.
Stupid. Why would people not watch it in the studio where we film?
Why wouldn't we want 75 people to laugh when we tell them to laugh?
To indicate when the home audience should laugh. It's such a weird concept. It's as stupid as grapefruit being good for you, but ripping your teeth out of your face.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
So there was one last situation before we get to rapid fire. I was gonna teach you a word today, Terry.
Oh,
it's been a while since I did this.
I'm listening.
Catachresis.
Oh.
Catachresis is a word I learned when I was like 17 years old and I've never used.
So you want me to tell you what I think it means?
Yeah, go for it. Vocabulary hour with Terry.
I think it sounds like catechism, and I had to learn about Jesus, and that was a waste of time. So is it when something's really stupid?
So I'm thinking about catacombs.
As a defense, it's stupid, but go ahead, Terry. What do you think it is?
I was thinking about catacombs, which is similar to what Ego was going to, or the same line, where I think it's something to do with death and how you are when you're dead, like the state you're in when you're dead.
Catachresis is someone. It's a situation where someone uses words without knowing what they mean.
Oh,
so for example, you two right now were victims of catachresis. So the reason I bring it up is it's a couple times we saw this with Myers Leonard when he used the anti-Jewish slur, and his defense was, "Oh, I didn't know what that word meant." And now Carlton Davis used an anti-Asian slur, and then apologized and says, "Oh, I just thought it meant lame." Why are you saying things if you don't know what they mean?
It's like that episode in The Office when he's like. He's like when he used the R word and he's like it doesn't mean that when someone is slow or whatever, it means you call your friends that when they're acting the R word. He's like, you call them that when they're acting like it. It's like you didn't get the point, Mike.
No, exactly. But that's exactly it. It's like, no, you need to understand what words mean before you use words. It reminds you of another Michael Scott moment where he's describing the wine as having an oaky afterbirth. That was one of my favorite moments of all time.
Or when he said, he's like, when I was growing up, when you called somebody gay, it usually meant that they were lame. Now it means they like men.
Yeah. Man, I didn't realize this, but Michael Scott's entire character is based on catachresis.
He is a catachrism.
He's a catacric.
He's a catachresis.
I don't know if catacric's a word. Now I'm a victim. Everyone's doing it. Guys, there was a lot of stuff going on. We didn't even get to Aaron Rodgers being on Jeopardy. We didn't get to Jim Nantz no longer giving out a tie to the NCAA championships. The NCAA championship most valuable player. I don't know why I had so much.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that was a thing.
You used to give a tie, but it was almost like you're giving a 19-year-old a tie, but you're you're getting older and older, your style is not really evolving, and it's not really a tie they would wear. So I'm sure it ends up in their uncle's Christmas gift.
It's such a random thing, and it says from Jim Nantz signed. Maybe there's $100 bill inside.
That'd be awesome. But then
no NCAA violations. I don't do that shit.
Players,
It's like that story with the grandmother and how she's like, "Did you read your Bible today?" to her grandson that went to school, and he's like, "Grandma, I need some money. Can you lend me some money?" She's like, "Did you read your Bible today?" And he's like, "Yeah, I read my Bible." She's like, "Okay, come see me when you finish reading your Bible." And then he never reads his Bible, and then at the end he finds a check for $10,000 written to his name at the end of his Bible. It's the same thing. Jim Nantz gives a guy a tie with a $100 bill inside, and the guy's like, "Hey, Jim Nantz, I need $100. You have a He's like, "Did you wear your tie today?" It's the whole thing. It's the same thing. Same exact story.
So there's a bunch of uncles just with a spare $100 with no reason for it.
Just in there.
Just wow, I got a tie and $100 for Christmas.
Sick.
Man, I know my nephew is an NBA player, but geez, that's a nice gift. Eagle, it's time for rapid fire. Let's do it.
Here we go. Rapid fire topics. Let's start with the first one here. Trashy AF. So not sure if you guys have noticed, we had MLB opening weekend this last weekend.
Yeah, home run in the snow. The first home run of the season was in the snow. It was awesome.
And as well, in their first road game with fans in the stadium since the whole cheating scandal, the Astros took the field against the Oakland Athletics, and fans wasted no times booing them, chanting them, and even threw an inflatable garbage can onto the field. Thoughts?
Wait, no, they did a whole season after they did the scandal.
But nobody was in the crowds last season.
Yeah, they only got hit by pitches, but you couldn't have fans boo them, right?
There wasn't one stadium that had limited capacity.
Well, no, because they were the first sport to come back from.
Yes, you're right.
Them and the NBA, but to start their season during the COVID times.
Yeah, you're right.
I thought this was clever. It's kind of cool that fans are this passionate about cheating. It's just a shame that they're not as passionate about, when cheating happens in Georgia when they change the voting laws.
Yeah, weird.
Really weird.
All right, next, Mad City Broadcasting, in what can be considered a how-to handbook on how to deal with sports radio callers, Cleveland broadcasting veteran Bruce Drennan had the following exchange with one of his callers.
You can just simply pitch around Ramirez, keep walking him, don't give him anything to hit. The next guy, the good pitches down the middle he won't swing at, but the ball's down around his ankles. He hits the shortstop into a double play. This has been going on for 2 years.
Right. I guess you missed a lot of the games that Reyes hit in the clutch last year, huh?
No.
Oh, yeah. You're an idiot. You're an idiot and you don't know baseball.
I'm not an idiot.
No, you are an idiot. Listen, you're going to tell me you are judging. You don't know anything. You don't know squat, you stupid idiot. You're going to tell me you're going to make a judgment on the season after one game in 30-degree weather? That proves what an ignoramus you are. Get off our show.
Hey, there's nothing more Ohio than that guy.
How mad was this guy when LeBron left the second time?
Yeah.
When I see that, so there's two things I love. I love that the answer to yes is no. And if you need to explain to someone who's never seen sports radio, can't even consider what is sports radio, it's literally that. Caller saying yes. The radio host saying no. And then I love how he's the way he delivers "Get Off My Show" has so much gravitas. He's so he's so impassioned about,
pumping
I
his
need you
chest,
to get off the phone immediately.
Get off my fucking show. Sork my cork.
All right.
If he pulled a sulk my cork on it, that would have been epic.
That would have been awesome.
He would have lost his job automatic on the spot.
Pardon my list. Stephen A. Smith was in midseason form already when he reacted to ESPN's top 25 under 25 list.
Right now.
Classic.
Let's go further in the list. How do we not have Devin Booker in the top 5?
I don't know.
How do we not have in the top?
He's getting better and better.
Have you heard anyone on the air rave about De'Aaron Fox more than me? De'Aaron Fox is in Sacramento. Almost no one raves about him but me. I love De'Aaron Fox. He's at 6. He's ahead of Devin Booker too. I mean, come on, man. You just look at certain things and you're like, what are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? So it's not just about LaMelo. It's several things that are questionable on this list. But Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell,
Booker is
Jason
being disrespected
Tatum.
here.
Come on, man. Come on.
Look, Donovan Mitchell's already done it in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell had an all-time great playoff performance already. But Devin Booker's being disrespected here, straight up disrespected. I wondered for a while early on, is he an empty calorie type of stat dude, right? Like, I can see he can score, but can he do it in the service of winning? He did it for a team that went 8-0 in the bubble that's balling now. And Stephen A., we like to compare people to Kobe Bryant a lot in the league. Mamba mentality, Mamba mentality. I'm not talking about the Mamba mentality, but I am talking about his overall offensive game. Like a dude who can do anything offensively to score the ball, I look at Devin Booker. At 8, that's a ridiculous ranking of Devin Booker. I'm with you there.
One of the few times I'll agree with Max Kellerman here, unless it's about fighting. But yeah, man, like lists. I mean, I make lists all the time. They're fucking useless. My girlfriend makes fun of me all the time because I'm always like, yeah, top five this, top 5 that. Like, I have 17 people in my top 5. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you always have a minimum of 10 people in your top 5.
Yeah. It's top 5 at the moment. Like I always say, there's only 3 good golfers in the world. It's a rotation. You know, There's always top 3 golfers. It's a rotation, and it's the same thing. And it's like these lists mean nothing. Do you and I think LaMelo Ball is better than Donovan Mitchell and fucking Devin Booker?
I don't.
Exactly.
Do we
think he's better than Jason Tatum?
I mean, I also don't think it matters that much because they're all really good players.
Who's number 1 on the list?
I took from it. 1, I thought Jason Tatum's been in the league for 14 years. He must have.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't he like 40?
Second thing, the ESPN, they're the best, man. They create a list, and then they have people on the network arguing about the list that they created themselves. And not only that, but look at what the list is. It's the top 25 under 25, and then Stephen A. is arguing about who's in the top 5 of the top 5 under 25. It's a mind-melting mess. And this is how you know that there's a break between college basketball season being over and the NFL draft, because now it's time for lists, ladies and gentlemen, and that's your programming for the next few weeks.
Next rapid fire. We don't have a clip, but Bruce Almosti, a man who was a not former Raiders offensive lineman, Bruce Campbell, got his ass handed to him by a much smaller dude in a Walmart scuffle. Terry, I think you have seen the clip before. Can you give us just kind of a walkthrough of what happened?
That's my bad, by the way. I was supposed to put the clip. I forgot to put the clip.
It's all good. So there's this like 6'7" guy. He's like 350
giant.
pounds. He's a giant. He's jacked. And he's just yelling in Walmart to this guy you don't really see. And then all of a sudden, this guy, like average size, a little pudgy, he kind of looked like me. He's 5'9", you know. He just comes and puts his hands up, and these guys start fighting. And the tall guy has like the worst footwork I've ever seen in my life. And he gets KO'd like 3 times in the fight to a guy who throws the worst hands I've ever seen.
Do something.
It was,
Do something.
Like, I don't see the guy. I'm like, who would want to fight this guy?
Black dude look a little gangster.
Like, I would run away from this guy immediately. Like, where's the guy he wants to fight? And then all of a sudden he's gonna come right out. He's gonna come out here.
This dude looks like he got hands. This nigga looks like he got hands though. Look, oh, they finna.
Yeah, look. He doesn't look like he has hands.
Swing. Oh yeah, they swing. Oh, they swing.
Oh,
they swing.
there's one. There's one right there. One right there. It's a bad look for big boys. Oh, it's a bad look for big guys, man. Anybody that says size matters, they have little penises.
There we go. And this is why I don't go to Walmart.
That's why you don't go to Walmart?
That's why I don't go, Terry. That's why I stay away.
We have, I love the name you put for this one piece, Sign Macaque, because that's apparently a title that was allowed for our airwaves. Erling Haaland was stopped by the game's lineman so that he can get his John Hancock. Let's take a look at the clip over here.
Erling Haaland's autograph after the game. Look, I know he's a superstar footballer. Everyone's talking about it. But do you want officials in Champions League games?
Oh, it was in the tunnel?
To the answer, no, Jake.
I don't hate it as much anymore if it's in the tunnel. That's okay. I thought it was on the field. If it was on the field, I'd be like, what the fuck's this guy doing?
I saw so many. I was like I went down the rabbit hole on this on Twitter, and soccer Twitter is, you got to get over yourself, soccer Twitter.
Oh no, they are the most righteous group of people.
You couldn't get one person being like, this doesn't matter. Everyone was like, this is an atrocity to the game. He should never ref a game. I was like, oh my God, are you serious?
Haaland is like one of the best young guys in the world right now, and it's probably common knowledge. It's probably very likely that this guy has a son who's 10 years old that loves this player. Yeah. It might be his favorite player. So he's like, hey, my son's a huge fan. Can you sign this random piece of paper I have? Like, now, that's all I'm asking.
If I'm a ref, what I do is in the next game, when I give someone a yellow card, I ask him to sign it immediately after. That's the way you do it. That's the way.
All right, boys, and last rapid fire for today. We started rapid fire with trashy AF. We're going to end with something that's trashier AF. We consider ourselves pretty open and liberal and sex positive, but here's a picture of a guy eating someone's ass out in public, and also that there's a shit stain on her panties.
Yeah, so it's not, I mean, it's like a leotard kind of thing, and you don't see it there, but like if you watch the whole video and you pause it, you see like the part that was in her ass is full of brown stuff, and listen.
Hey, man, he's doing the Lord's work, man.
I'm a big guy. I know sometimes you can't reach down there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you gotta fight. You gotta struggle, man. You gotta like get the sanitation wipes. Maybe get some Lysol in there. Get it all out. A bidet would be unbelievable. Yeah. But you gotta do the work.
A shower handle. I love that.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I've had a few track stains in my life, track marks in my life. You know, I mean, recently. Mm-hmm. But you gotta make more of an effort, especially if you're on a date. You know. And especially if you're willing to let a guy eat your ass in public, I think you should do a little bit more.
I mean, and are you really surprised, though, because that level of trashy, is that really what you're worried about?
Well, also, this guy is a complete fucking moron. He's like an open space.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, behind this fence, nobody can see you. It's a fence.
Eagle, bring up the picture. I love the expression. Like, the expression is, he's actually shocked that he's being seen in public, in broad daylight, in a parking lot.
But how did the conversation happen? It's like, hey, think I can eat your ass up against that fence over there?
She's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, I might have a stain down there, but just move it to the side. Good to go.
The steak we just hammered is kind of runny, so it's running right through me, but that's up to you if you want in. Sure, I'm down. Let's go up against that fence. Nobody can see you.
And that's how we end Rapid Fire this week, boys.
Fucking idiots in this world. Idiots.
Well,
eat my ass.
Thank you for everything you've done today. Like I said, it was a fun show. It was some serious, some laughs. It was a good time. Thank you for everything you've done. Eagle, thanks for all the production work you've done. Thank you for saving my teeth. I never have tooth pain, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, and now I know. This is awful. I'm really sad because I really enjoyed my nightly grapefruit drink. That's gone by the wayside. So thank you for the information, but most of all, thank you all for letting me be myself.
Get Pronamel.
You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports
every morning. Pronamel every morning cures your problem.
Don't bring it down. Not at Walmart though.
All right.